This is the Louis T. Network.
In the lab room.
Welcome. You are in the lab room. I'm your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. It's Wednesday here on the program. And so on Wednesdays, I like to review what I did in the Pick'em Weekly Challenge. And I was a little bit disappointed in my performance. I'm not going to lie. I'm a guy that I'm okay when I get double-digit wins, and I was able to achieve that. But it's not hard to achieve double-digit wins when all 16 games are on the slate. When all 32 teams are in action, it's not hard to win double-digit games. That's a feat that is something to boast about when you've got 6 teams on a bye week or you've got 8 teams on a bye week and there's only 12 games that week. That's when you need to be talking about being excited about winning double-digit games. And so going 11-5 isn't something to really brag about in week 1. While I'm not that upset about how I did, I'm a little disappointed. Tampa Bay let me down. That should have been a win. I thought the Redskins were going to win. Of course, me being a homer, I'm a Redskins fan. I thought we were going to win against the Eagles. A little disappointed there, of course. Thought the Giants were going to go to Dallas, a place that they hadn't lost in Jerry's world yet, and get a victory. And so thought they would pull one out. So they kind of let me down. You look at another game that I wasn't able to win. I thought Minnesota was good enough to go on the road like they had done a season ago and beat Detroit. This Detroit Lions team isn't the same team. They have a man on their roster now by the name of Reggie Bush. Have you heard of him? That guy's a baller. Over 190 all-purpose yards, a couple of touchdowns, or at least one for sure, a couple of near touchdowns. And this guy was everywhere, over 100 yards receiving, that big 77-yard middle screen that he took to the house, another 90 yards rushing. And so Reggie was everywhere. That's not the same Detroit Lions team. I made the mistake of thinking that it was. And so I got a loss there. You look at another L that I took, and I think my final L of the day came via the, let's see. What other game did I manage to botch? I lost Washington. I lost Dallas. I lost Detroit. I lost lost Tampa Bay, of course. Lost one more game. And I know it happened in the 1 o'clock games because I didn't lose at 4 o'clock. There were 2 4 o'clock games. I got both of those right. Let's see. Let me run them. Mentally running through the games in my head. Give me a second. Oh, yeah. And those dirty, dastardly Pittsburgh Steelers at home in an embarrassment versus the Tennessee Titans. That was my final loss. Oh, man, was that ugly. So there you have it. I went 11-5. Pretty solid week considering the circumstances. Tampa Bay should have won. And I easily could have been 12 or 13-3 or 12-4. But I went 11-5. I'm not mad about that because I'm about to turn it up. For all of you out there that are doing your own Pick'em Weekly challenges and you're picking the games, I can assure you of this. By season's end, I will be better than you. I don't know how else to say it. I'm just better than you. And so I start off slow. This is your week. If you're not in front of me now, if we're even, I'm leaving. So if you're not in front of me right now, you had your opportunity, you blew it. Because I'm about to turn it up. I know who teams are already. It doesn't take me a long time to figure out who you are as a football team. It only takes me 1 week. And I've already figured out just about who everyone in the National Football League is. And there are going to be a couple of teams that flip the script on us after week 4 or week 5. And you thought you knew who they were, but they told us a nice big story. And that's not who they are at all. But as of right now, I pretty much have a good grasp of who everyone is in the National Football League. And so I'm about to become very dangerous in my Pick'em Weekly challenge. And so 11-5, solid start to the season. Not great, but not that bad either. So what I will do is on Fridays, I always like to pick the games, or Thursday, excuse me. I like to pick the games because on Thursdays, You didn't know we got a Thursday night football game. Normally I pick them on Fridays. Actually, is what I do. I pick them on Fridays. I give you the winner of the Thursday night game so you don't think I kind of change that after the game is done. So I give you the Thursday night matchup on Thursday before the game comes on, and then Friday I run through the list of games and I give you all the winners that I have, and I post up a spreadsheet of all of my picks so you see them visually and you know exactly who I think is going to come down with the victory on Sunday or Monday. So look out for that on Friday. I'll be going through my list of winners that I think are going to get it done on Sunday and Monday, and so that'll be something that I handle on Friday, but I like to go over what I was able to accomplish on Wednesday. But Wednesdays, for me, is generally Soul Survivor Wednesday. And so, on Wednesdays, I like to go through the list of games, talk about each game, and talk about why it's a good idea to pick it as a Soul Survivor pool. I am throwing a Soul Survivor pool. I'm having my first annual In the Lab Room Soul Survivor football pool. So if you're not in it, you're missing out on a good time. But for those of you who are in it, this is your opportunity to kind of pick my brain a little bit. You're not going to get to pick what I pick because you should have already turned in your picks by now. By the time you see this video, it would have been already time for you to have turned in your picks. So you can't pick the same team that I picked, but tell you what, this is a chance for you to understand my logic when I do a Soul Survivor pool. And even with the information, the intel that I'm about to give you, doesn't matter. You're not me. So it doesn't matter. You're still not going to win, but you're going to find out the best route to getting it done in these Survivor pools. And so this is my favorite segment within In the Lab Room because it's fast paced. It's in your face. And so without any further ado, let's get to the Soul Survivor in week 2.
Everyone can pick, but only one can win. Are you?
The Soul Survivor!
All right, so here we are. We're in week 2. We start off Thursday. New York Jets going on the road to New England to take on the Patriots. Look, you know how I feel about family business first and foremost. I try to stay away from family business if at all possible. If you can't and you got to go near it, then you got to do what you got to do. But this is family business. I don't trust the Jets. I don't trust the Patriots right now. The Patriots struggle with the Bills. The Jets always give the Patriots trouble. I'm staying away from this one. It's family business. You know how I feel about family business. If it happens in the family, it stays in the family. I'm leaving this one alone. You can touch it if you want. I'm not touching this one with a 10-foot pole. You move on to Sunday's slate of games. St. Louis at Atlanta. Look, the St. Louis Rams get pressure on the quarterback. And Atlanta did not look that sharp. And Roddy White is not healthy yet. Now, I expect Atlanta to win this game, but I'm not sure. And with this St. Louis Rams team playing solid football, getting production out of their offense, this line is actually blocking. I'll tell you what, I'm not sure about this one. I'm not touching this one. You can have at it. I'm leaving this one to you. I look at Cleveland and Baltimore. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. Now, here is why this is my Soul Survivor pick for this week, because you look at this matchup. Baltimore Ravens coming off an embarrassing loss on the road at a Denver Broncos team that is light years ahead of everyone else in the AFC right now, as it stands. They should have been at home. They got a raw deal there. They're mad. They're foaming at the mouth. They're going to get their Super Bowl rings. This is going to be a very emotionally charged football game. They're ready to tear somebody up. And it just happens to be the Cleveland Browns minus Josh Gordon. I don't like this offense without Josh Gordon. He's the big play guy. He's what makes this offense go to me. And even though this is family business, and I would love to stay away from family business, once you look at the slate of games, and I'll go over them, you'll see why this is your best option in week 2. We'll move on though. Carolina at Buffalo. This looks like a good pick on paper, especially when the schedule came out. Hey, Carolina traveling to Buffalo. Buffalo's going to be the lowly Buffalo. Nobody circles the losing wagon like the Buffalo Bills. No. E.J. Manuel has come in. He's infused this team with a little bit of hope. They're not quite there yet because they're still losing close games at the end. But I tell you what, EJ Manuel looks really good. This Buffalo Bills defense looks really good. And they're at home. And if you know nothing else, try to stay away. Avoid road teams if you can. You can't always do it. And sometimes the home team just flat out stinks. Like last week with Jacksonville at home versus Kansas City. Sometimes that home team just stinks. But in this case, Buffalo is playing some solid football, and Carolina still looks like they're a little deficient on the offensive side of football. This defense is for real, but this offense still looks like they're joking to me. I can't do it. If you want to, go right ahead. I'm staying away from this one. Minnesota at Chicago. Family business. I'm not touching it. You can if you like. I'm not messing with this one. You couldn't pay me to touch this one. Washington at Green Bay. Those are my boys. I love them, but I won't lose because of them. Look. Never pick with your heart when you're doing anything involving winning. You want to win, you pick with your head, not your heart. And I know my boys got a struggle on their hands. I'm not touching this one. The Packers are a really good team, especially at home. I don't expect us to go into Lambeau and just win a game. We might win, and it's a good possibility that we could go in there and steal one, but I'm not touching this one at all. You move on. Tennessee at Houston. Family business. Even though Houston is better than Tennessee, Tennessee just won a football game very convincingly on the road with their defense. Houston did not wow me in their performance on the road against San Diego. You put the two together, plus it's family business, I don't want any part of this one. You look at Miami at Indianapolis. This is going to be one of the better games of week 2. So why would you do it? Why? Doesn't make any sense. Two young second-year quarterbacks squaring off against each other looking for supremacy. Why would you do it? Okay, so Dallas at Kansas City. Another good football game here. All right, Cowboys, very impressive in their opener. Defense looked really good for 6 turnovers. Kansas City coming off of a very decisive win on the road against a lowly Jacksonville Jaguars football team. They're having their home opener. No. Don't go near this one. San Diego at Philadelphia. Now this looks like a very enticing game, and if you're not smart, you'll go near this one because on the outside, on the surface, this one looks like it's ripe for the picking. San Diego comes off a tough loss. They seem like that same San Diego Chargers team that can't close the deal, that can get out on top of you, but will blow that lead within a quarter and a half of football because they can't hold on to leads. It was their Achilles heel last year. It looks to be the same this season, and Philadelphia looks to be explosive on the offensive end of the football. They look like a team that can run up and down, run up the score, and really put some points on the scoreboard. However, that was 1 week. That's not a big enough sample size for me, and I don't trust the Eagles just yet. San Diego never did trust them, and I won't trust them. If you watched me last year, you know how I feel about the San Diego Chargers. I will never, ever trust the San Diego Chargers again. No, I'm not messing with this game because I don't trust either of the participants. I'm moving on. Detroit at Arizona. Last year, I fell into this trap. And I said, Detroit is going out to Arizona and they're going to smash the Cardinals. The Cardinals had lost like 9 games in a row. No way Detroit is going to go and lay down in Arizona. And guess what they did? They got a pillow and they went to sleep in Arizona. I'm not messing with this game because the Cardinals look good offensively. So do the Detroit Lions. I don't know whose defense is going to decide to force 3 turnovers and win this football game. I'll let you figure that one out because I don't want to. Look at the next game. New Orleans at Tampa Bay. It's family business. What happens in the family stays in the family. And this is some family business. I don't go sniffing around in other people's business. This isn't my family business. This isn't NFC East football. This is some NFC South football. This is not my family business. So guess what? I'm staying out of it. Keep my nose clean. I go on to Denver at the Giants. The best team in the AFC going against usually one of the better teams in the NFC. You turn it over 6 times the week prior and you don't really know what your running back situation looks like, I can't trust you. And so this looks like a good game, but guess what? The Denver Broncos are on the road. I don't do road teams if I don't have to. And this is one of those tough games. You don't go probing and reaching for a game. That's why survivor pools are so intellectually stimulating because you don't need to prove that you are an NFL guru here. You just need to get the layup. You need to find the layup. You need to find that fast break layup. You're looking for the slam dunk here. You're not looking for the three-pointer in the corner. You're looking for an easy bucket. And this is not an easy bucket here. We know the Giants seem to raise and elevate their level of play with their opponent. This could be one of those times where they jump up and bite somebody. It won't be me. I'll tell you that much. You look at the next matchup, Jacksonville at Oakland. This seems to be a lot of people's special for this week. The reason why this isn't a good pick is because you're dealing with two bad football teams. Never trust a bad football team to do anything for you. I learned that the hard way. And look, you only got to get me one time. You only got to jump up and bite me one time. And the Raiders have jumped up and bitten me several times. And I'm okay with that. You got to learn your lesson some way, right? Well, I've learned my lesson. And I'm not picking Jacksonville ever. I'm not picking Oakland anymore because I don't trust either of these teams. I don't know who's going to throw up on themselves first in this game. Whoever doesn't throw up on themselves the most in this game will win it. I think it's going to be the Oakland Raiders, but you're not sure. And when you're not sure, you can't do it in a survivor pool because you only get one chance. And if you don't take it and you make one mistake, you take one false step, boo! Your survivor pool has just blown up in your face. And this is one of those games that will have it blow up right in your face. This is a landmine game. You step on this one, you could blow up. You look at the next matchup. San Francisco at Seattle. The marquee matchup of the week. By me just saying that alone should tell you this is not a game that you should be picking in a survivor pool. And it's family business. Not my business. Maybe your business is not my business. I'm not sticking my nose in anybody else's family business. This isn't my family business. I'm staying out of it. You can have at this one, but this one is going to be a knockdown, drag out, slobber knocker that I don't want any part of. I'll sit back and watch with my popcorn. I'm going to have T.O. on the couch with me. We got our popcorn ready. We're going to be watching the game, but I won't pick it. But you look at Monday Night Football. This is just as bad as Sunday Night Football. Pittsburgh, who is desperate. They need a win. They need a win in the worst way. On the road against the team that everyone thinks is going to win this division in the Cincinnati Bengals. The Steelers got to go into the jungle to get a win. I would not bet on this one. And guess what? Look, this is family business. And anytime two teams tell you they didn't did it, then they didn't did it. But if they did, well, that's family business. And so, with that being said, that concludes the week 2 slate of games. I'm staying away from that Steelers game because it's family business. Not my business. Maybe it's yours, but it's none of mine. So I'm staying out. And so now you see why the Baltimore Ravens are the most logical choice on this schedule. Even though it's family business, the Ravens struggled with this Cleveland Browns team a season ago. Still, they're at home. They're hungry. They're mad. Home opener. Super Bowl rings are being given out. And this Browns team is still struggling to find their identity without Josh Gordon. Brandon Weeden is going to turn it over at least twice in this game. The Ravens are going to run the football, be effective, and win this football game. Now look, the Browns played some good run defense last week. Can they do it again? Can they duplicate that again and force Joe Flacco to have to win this game on his right arm? We'll see. But whatever the case may be, the Ravens will do enough in this game at home to win this thing. And so that is my sole survivor of the week.
Everyone can pick, but only one can win. Are you?
The Soul Survivor!
So, you see where my logic is here. And that was a lot of fun. And we'll do it every Wednesday here on this program in the lab room. And I'll break down my weekly picks. And so, now that that's out of the way, time for a touchdown. That was a touchdown. Don't you agree? That was a touchdown, right? Time to tack on a quick extra point. So, looking at the week of games, you know who my standout players were this week? and I had two of them. You could go with Peyton Manning, and honestly, I don't know how you don't pick Peyton Manning, but I've gotten to the point now with Peyton that I'm accustomed to this. It's like it's hard for him to wow me anymore because I'm so used to Peyton acting up like this. Now, 7 touchdowns, that's some serious acting up there, and didn't see that one coming, but Peyton's won enough. Let somebody else win. So it could be Peyton Manning, but it's not for me. It could be Shady McCoy, but it's not for me. For me, this week, the two guys that stood out for me were both defensive ends that really helped their teams win football games. And you can sprinkle in a little bit of Jarrell Casey if you want from Tennessee because he was huge in that Pittsburgh Steelers game. But for me, the two guys that stood out, in St. Louis, Robert Quinn was a machine. They could not block that young man. He was going nuts on that offensive line. And poor Levi Brown, man, he was trying to hold Mr. Quinn down. He couldn't. Mr. Quinn was the medicine man, and he had that antidote for that Arizona Cardinals offensive line because he was sick, and he was killing. 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, including what I called the momentous play of the game. The momentous moment was him forcing a fumble of Carson Palmer. Rams recover. They go down, tie the game up with a field goal. Later on, take the lead on a game-winning field goal. And so Robert Quinn for me was one guy. The other guy was another sack master, that being Mr. Cameron Wake. That man was an animal again. 3 sacks against Cleveland. He helped stymie that Cleveland Browns offense. Really had Brandon Whedon flustered in that pocket. And these guys were the difference makers in their team's victories over the weekend. And so, to me, those guys stood out as the in the lab room players of the week. And so, with that being said, that's going to do it for me here on Wednesdays. I love Wednesdays. Like hump day. Woo woo! Hump day! Woo woo! So I'll see you back here on Thursday when we break down that Thursday night matchup between the New York Jets and the New England Patriots. And so I'll see you then. And remember, if it happens in the NFL, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the lab room. See you on Thursday. Have a good one.
While you're here, go ahead and sub up.
In the lab room.